In the first part, we studied about forest and their differences. The next part, we are going to study about wildlife and its conservation. What is wildlife? Wildlife is an inherent part of forest. They are the part of the ecosystem, and forests provide their habitat. Wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, and many other microorganisms. Each one has a role to play in the ecosystem, so each species is important for the survival of the other. According to the study of Worldwide Fund for Nature, the reasons of declining wildlife are climate change, a loss of natural habitat, pollution, and overexploitation of certain species. Wildlife have been classified into three categories. They are extinction of a species, endangered species, and threatened species. The first one, extinction of a species. The last of the species dies due to environmental changes caused by climate change or natural disasters is known as extinction of the species. Number two, endangered species. Endangered species are those plants and wildlife that are so small in number that they face the risk of becoming extinct. Most of them extincted because of human activities. Panda, Panamanian golden frog, macaw in Brazil are some of the endangered species in the world. Number three, threatened species. Threatened species are the species, those plants, animals, birds, and insects that are at risk of becoming endangered in the near future. These are also referred to as the red list species. Next, protected natural resources. They are biosphere reserves and national parks. Biosphere reserves. Bioreserves is an area set aside as a protected area for the preservation of flora, fauna, and wildlife. Rare and endangered species are kept here. It preserves nature as well as using for study and research. National parks. They are areas set aside by the governments to preserve the natural environment. They serve the purpose of recreation and public environment and enjoyment centers for historic or scientific interests. Canada, US, Britain, Africa, Japan, India, Brazil, Australia have large national parks. India has 59 national parks, 372 sanctuaries, 1200 types of birds, 350 mammals. Sanctuary means it's a space set aside for the exclusive use of land protection for animals. The largest national park in India is Hemis, Hemis, Hemis in Jammu Kashmir. Second one is considered as Desert National Park in Rajasthan. Next is conservation. Conservation is very important to preserve forest and wildlife to allow ecosystems to function. We allow them to function. Forest and wildlife can be conserved by demarcating forest as protected areas and preventing illegal logging, by recycling, three, by preventing poaching of wildlife, four, by protecting endangered and threatened species, five, by preventing hunting and smuggling, six, increasing awareness and knowledge to preserve and conserve vegetation and wildlife through the media such as newspaper, television, and school books, periodicals, magazines, etc. There are numerous international bodies that are involved in the protection of natural vegetation and wildlife. Some special efforts adopted by the government of India are National Forestry Action Program to increase the forest cover and control deforestation. Next, National Wildlife Action Plan. It is especially for conserving wildlife and protection of endangered species. Next is CITES, CITES, International Laws and Agreements on Conservation. Then Vana Mahotsav, it celebrates to encourage planting of trees. Wildlife Week celebrates the first week of October every year to increase awareness about wildlife.